Hello, my friend. I am so excited to dive into this week's podcast episode for you on this month's astrology. Oh my goodness. This is going to be quite a month. I am super excited for May's astrology. So, in this week's episode, I'll be diving deep into the transits of May. I will also dive a lot deeper into the transits of this week. I'm also going to share how to find and cultivate more peace. I will then end off this podcast episode with a tarot reading of what energy to embrace, what energy to let go of. So let's just dive right into it. So I first want to start off with the major transits in May, and then I'm going to dive into this week's astrology. So May's astrology gives us a lot of forward momentum. This is really exciting because we have Mars in Leo for the entire month, and this is quite lovely. Mars is very passionate, very creative in the sign of Leo. And Mars is the planet of how we work and take action. It's how we date and pursue in relationships. So with Mars in Leo for the entire month, this is a fiery energy for us. This is really going to light that motivation that we need to really go on with our goals. Now I want to give a good overview of the major transits of May. So on May 4th, we have Pluto going retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. On May 10th, we have Mercury entering Taurus. On May 12th, we have a full moon in Scorpio. On May 20th, we have Gemini season beginning. Then on May 25th, we have Saturn entering Aries. On May 26th, we have Mercury entering Gemini. And then on May 27th, we have a new moon in Gemini. We then end off the month with a Mercury cazimi in the sign of Gemini. So what's really standing out to me for May's astrology is we're going to get a taste of Saturn in Aries. Saturn will go retrograde later this year, but for a few months we have Saturn in Aries. I'll leave the exact dates down below. And Saturn is uncomfortable in the sign of Aries traditionally. So I do want to give you a heads up on that. And Saturn is the planet of hard work and dedication. It really helps us understand our boundaries, our systems and structures. And with Saturn in Aries, this is us really learning more self-discipline. This is us stepping it up in terms of building our own identity. What does this look like? How is discipline a part of this? We will also see how we're going to have to set boundaries a lot more with Saturn and Aries, especially when it comes to yourself. How are you setting boundaries with self-sabotaging? Are you paying attention to that? Are you setting boundaries with how you view yourself? How are you talking to yourself? We are going to really understand discipline a lot more with Saturn and Aries. If you natally have Saturn in Aries, you'll be going through your Saturn return. I have an entire video on your Saturn return. I'll leave a link to that if you want to dive deeper. Yet this is really good to note because this is a very pivotal time in your life where you adult up and learn hard lessons. Now, if you have Saturn in Pisces in your natal chart, you have been going through your Saturn return, and you won't necessarily end your Saturn return when Saturn moves into Aries because this is only a sneak preview of Saturn in Aries. Saturn will retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. So your Saturn return is not over yet. I'm sorry to say that, yet it's good to keep in mind. Now going back to some of the major transits for May, on May 12th, we have the Sun conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So this can be a really shocking day. This day in particular really catches my attention because this really shakes things up for us. Uranus is the planet of unexpected insight, breakthroughs, but also unexpected news. You could have a really big surprise this day. And this can be really helpful, yet it could also be a bit destabilizing depending on what it is. With the Sun conjunct Uranus, expect the unexpected. You could get a breakthrough around your finances, around your self-worth, your self-value, or understanding the material world in a completely new way. This could also look like a surprise when it comes to food, finances, art. This is a very interesting day, so be cautious on this day, but I do think you'll get some lovely surprises when it comes to these areas as well. It really, really depends on what aspects are happening in your specific transit chart, but I do want to give you a heads up that whatever you have planned for May 17th, it might not go the way you've planned. So keep that in mind. Now I want to dive deeper into the major transits for this week. On April 30th, we have Venus re-entering the sign of Aries. Venus is the planet of values. It's how we show love and affection. So it was retrograde in the sign of Aries just recently. So with Venus re-entering Aries, we're going back to some major themes, especially when it comes to your sense of worthiness, when it comes to how you see yourself, what that looks like, when it comes to how you take care of your body, and how are you leading other people? How are you going after your desires? These are going to be some questions that come back up again with Venus re-entering Aries. Now, some specific dates I want you to think back on. What was happening for you February 4th, 2025? This was one of the times Venus was in Aries, so whatever was happening for you around that time, you're seeing in a new perspective now that Venus is direct in the sign of Aries. Also, what was happening for you around March 25th, 2025? Again, similar themes can come up at this time. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. Also, if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe because it really does help me out. I'm always so excited to hear what breakthroughs you're getting from these podcast episodes. Thank you for so many people DMing me about your breakthroughs or your insights about these podcast episodes. Feel free to do so. I'd love to hear it, or just comment down below. I'd love to hear what insights you receive. Now, I do want to mention Venus re-entering Aries is going to have more of this focus around us wanting things right away. I do want to give you a heads up on that. This could look like, in terms of dating, you could want to get to know someone a bit faster. This could look like you experiencing a different art form and just wanting to get the process done really, really quickly. These are just some examples, but it's really, really interesting to pay attention to. And I will say with Venus in Aries, things can get a bit more flirty, a bit more passionate, a bit more bold when it comes to dating, as well as when it comes to appreciating art as well. I will say to really take a step back and make sure you're not overspending with this energy, because Venus in Aries can be in a state of, I just want to buy this right away, right now. So make sure you're giving yourself some time before purchasing certain items. Now on May 2nd, we have Venus conjunct Neptune in Aries. So this day is very dreamy, very romantic. It can be a little bit confusing though. If you're dating someone, I want to give you a heads up. This can feel very, very confusing about someone's intentions. This can feel very confusing as to what is happening in the relationship. This can feel a bit loosey-goosey and wishy-washy. This is honestly a really good day to do a meditation, to do yoga, to do something that moves your body in a very spiritual way. Neptune is the planet of spirituality, illusions, confusion. Understanding that Neptune is a bit foggy, however, it can really help you connect to source in a very enlightening way. So I would use this energy to your advantage. I would honestly recommend doing any type of art form or appreciating art, going to an art gallery as a date, or taking yourself out on a date, honestly, because with Aries energy, this is you appreciating yourself. This is you valuing yourself in terms of things, and also seeing how you're connected to a greater purpose and understanding. I really love this energy because it's helping us understand that learning who we are as individuals, taking care of ourselves as individuals, has a greater impact on the world and the collective energy. Neptune energy really helps us connect to something greater than ourselves. So you could just feel this spiritual calling this day, especially when it comes to your art and how you show love and affection. This can be really highlighted. I do want to give you a heads up that your finances can feel a bit confusing this day. This is not the best day to use your spreadsheets because you could miss something. However, this is a great day to do some money manifestation. I do want to give you a heads up though, because we're doing a money manifestation ritual with the Moon Sign Creative community for the new moon in Taurus. The new moon in Taurus was on the 27th. We're going to feel this energy for the next 2 weeks. And if you want to join us, replays are available. It's happening tonight. If you're listening to this on the Monday, I'll leave a link to that down below. We'd be happy to have you there to manifest more money, to manifest more abundance, and also to connect with other spiritual entrepreneurs who are doing the healing work like you. Again, if you can't make it live, replays are available. So it's going to be so much fun, so juicy, so good, so abundant. I'm super, super excited for it. Now on May 4th, we have Pluto going retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Now we don't feel Pluto retrogrades as much as other planets. This is because Pluto is a generational planet. It is very far away. So we're not going to feel it as intensely as a Mercury retrograde or a Venus retrograde or a Mars retrograde. Really good to keep in mind. However, you still could feel just this inkling and rumbling with Pluto going retrograde. Now, Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius is having us question a lot when it comes to society, digital technology, how you are using digital technology. May this be AI, may this be how are you connecting in community, how are you starting a revolution, what does this look like? These can be some major themes with Pluto going retrograde. We are trying to rethink our strategy when it comes to these areas. And wherever Pluto is retrograde in your chart, you are revisiting and rethinking a lot of those major themes in that area of life for you. Now, I do want to mention Pluto is the planet of power. It's the planet of survival. It's the planet of transformation. And it's the planet of intensity and uncovering. So when Pluto goes retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, you could see more secrets come out, especially in terms of society in general, what's going on politically, what's going on in different countries. This could be a major theme at this time. We are looking at where is the power? How can we change the direction of where the power is going when this comes to technology and when it comes to our communities? Really good to keep in mind. Now, when we're looking at May's astrology, I will say this is going to feel a lot better than the first few months of the year because we had so many retrogrades at the beginning of 2025. However, again, yes, Pluto will be retrograde, yet we're not going to feel it as much as other retrogrades. It's good to keep in mind. However, we're still going to have this forward movement, which is very exciting. I'll dive a lot deeper into the full moon in Scorpio of May and the new moon in Gemini in May later this month. So stay tuned for those episodes. Now, if you're thinking, Tati, okay, you said 2025 will change your life, yet my life hasn't changed. Get ready. Get ready. We still have a lot happening in 2025, right? And I think we have to keep that in mind. Saturn moving into Aries is going to really shift a lot of energy for us. We also have Uranus moving into Gemini this year. We also have Jupiter moving into Cancer later this year. So we have a lot going on. astrologically. So I'm really, really excited to see what happens for you. If you are a Substack VIP member, just know you can always go back to your extended 2025 horoscopes, where I go through how the major transits of 2025 affect you. These are super juicy, so good. Go check those out if you haven't already. Now, in this week's episode, I want to talk about how to cultivate more peace and balance in your life. What does this look like? How can we feel more at peace in our day-to-day life? And this was a question asked to me by my community. So if you're not in my Substack community, go find me on Substack and go check out the chat. And you could always ask me some questions for upcoming episodes. I'd love to answer them. Now, this community member asked, how to find peace and balance. Helping others comes so naturally to me and brings me genuine joy. But is it just people pleasing when I still feel lack? I'm not sure what I want for me exactly. I do know that genuine, authentic love is a major part of it. I'm just not sure what that looks like anymore. And this community member is a Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, Aquarius Rising. So there's a lot here that I can talk about, and I know peace is such a general concept and something we're all striving for. I will say from personal experience that you can't have peace without going through chaos. I know that sounds really, really challenging, but understanding that you have to be able to deal with that chaos and move through it and feel through things, that is when you're able to cultivate more peace for yourself. And I'm going to give an example. Yet sometimes we think peace is what we want externally. Yet our external world is reflected from our internal state. So if you are feeling chaotic internally, you're going to want to put that out externally, even subconsciously. So the best way to cultivate inner peace so that you can see it externally is to first calm your mind, feel your feelings, and know that feeling peace doesn't mean you're not going to feel emotions. You're still going to get upset. You're still going to be hurt. You're still going to feel sad. You're still going to feel these things. Yet maybe it's not going to be at that extreme anymore. When my father passed away when I was 11, I would say I had some of the most chaotic years of my life after that, because it was me feeling this lack, feeling like I wasn't receiving love. So I do really believe that love and peace go hand in hand. You need love to feel peace. Because guess what? All the wars that are started, all the hard, difficult, horrific things happening in the world, would they be happening if those people loved themselves? No. No. We need love. At the core of it, we all need love. And learning to love yourself is the first primary step for that inner peace. And this is something I will preach on and on about. It's something that helped me the most, is cultivating that self-love, because honestly, in my life, I have gone through such dramatic changes, such turbulent things, that I used to hate myself. I used to really, really hate myself. And now I truly, truly love who I am. And I truly love the person I'm becoming. And what really helped me through those years where I was mourning and grieving the loss of my father, what really helped me through that process, but then also how I really tried to change my energy and how I really tried to cultivate that self-love. For myself, it took time. I'm going to be fully honest and transparent with that, but I wasn't fully aware of what I needed to do. So I do want to preface that. Sometimes we really do know what we need to do, but we are avoiding it. We're resistant to it because it doesn't feel safe in our body. Because our body likes what's familiar. If you're feeling like you're not feeling peace, there's a part of your subconscious mind that is telling you that it's safer to feel that, which is honestly bananas because your subconscious mind just wants to keep you safe, and what's safe is familiar. So to cultivate that inner peace, I first want to say this is going to be different for everyone. Okay, this is going to be so different for everyone. Now, you first have to start with yourself. It sounds like this community member really loves to give and really loves to be there for other people, right? And I think leaning into that is a great thing. Leaning into that is amazing, but I think it's more so the intention behind that of, okay, am I doing this because I want to receive love from this person? Or am I doing this from a genuine want to do this, right? Because I really do believe that us giving back, us really helping other people does help us in return. It really does. It makes us feel good to give. It makes us feel good to be there for others. Yet you always need boundaries when it comes to this, because if you're feeling lack at the end of it, it could be that you're overgiving. So knowing what personal boundaries you have when it comes to giving is the first step, right? Because that's going to be really important, because giving is honestly a beautiful, beautiful thing. But knowing that you have a capacity, knowing what that capacity looks like is going to be super, super important. Now, going back to what really helped me cultivate more inner peace over the years. And I also want to mention that I'm still working on this. I had a really hard day today in particular, and my mood was quite low. And I think it's understanding what that peace really looks like to you and what it means to you. And for me, it was me acknowledging that, okay, I'm going to have some hard days. Okay, I'm going to feel this way sometimes. But it was me recognizing this and knowing what to do to change that. Knowing what to do to try and put myself in a better perspective, a better mood, that's going to help so much. I think one of the major things that really, really helped me earlier on in my life was saying affirmations, even though I didn't know that was what I was doing. So for me, when I was going through a very dark period of my life, when I really truly hated my life, I hated who I was, I hated a lot of aspects to what was happening for me, what really got me through it was telling myself, things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. And I had to repeat this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I truly believed it after a certain point, right? I think that's the powerful thing about affirmations is you will believe it the more you repeat it, even if your brain is rejecting it at the beginning. Keep trying. Keep trying. It might be rephrasing it. It might be trying to figure out what would be believable. But affirmations are super, super powerful because they can really help us reprogram the subconscious mind, especially if you do overnight affirmations. And this personally was something I was resisting for years. I thought people were honestly lying to me because I'm like, no, there's no way this would change things for me. There's no way this would help me. And I've tried it a few times in the past and it felt as though I had a lot of resistance towards it. And then one of my friends, who's a mindset coach, kept recommending overnight affirmations to me. And she's like, no, this will transform your life. And after a lot of recommendations from her, I decided to try it out for myself. And it's something that really, really helped me understand, okay, there is a lot of power to our words. There's a lot of power to what you listen to. And overnight affirmations can help us reprogram our subconscious mind because it can help us understand a different reality than what we're currently seeing. If you want to try them out, I also recorded my own overnight affirmations. You can always find some on YouTube, but I did record specific overnight affirmations for more money, for more peace, for letting go, which I think is super, super important, and then also for more love. So I'll leave a link to that down below if you're curious, if you want to try it out. I highly recommend it. And going back to what I think would help someone cultivate more peace and balance in their life, I first want to say that the only thing constant is change. Change is always going to happen. So whatever you can do for yourself to create that balance within yourself, to create routines that help you long term, that is going to be the most transformative thing you can do for yourself. And I'm not just saying that because I have a Virgo stellium, but understanding that you are the actions you do. So if you're working out every day, if you are meditating every day, if you are journaling every day, if you're listening to overnight affirmations every day, if you are dancing every day, if you're listening to positive music every day, if you're EFT tapping every day, if you are doing things that nourish your energy, nourish your soul, that's going to help so much. That's going to help you so much. But it's keeping that routine. And the thing I've seen the most with my clients is they have some kind of resistance towards keeping their routine. That's when they start to panic. That's when they want to escape. That's when they get anxious and they feel like this is too much. Like it's too much to do a 5-minute meditation. It's too much to do a 5-minute breath work. They know it's going to make them feel better, yet maybe your subconscious mind is making up excuses, thinking it's not going to work for you, but it's worked for other people. And that's not true, right? That's not true. However, I think it's really important to mention that it's getting to the core root of what those subconscious beliefs are. What are those limiting beliefs that you're telling yourself? And that's going to help you shift and change things in your life. So for example, if you say, okay, I can't do this meditation every day, I don't have time. It's looking at, okay, why do you believe you don't have time? And it's interesting, this person has a Capricorn sun and Aquarius rising, so they're very Saturn ruled. So time plays a huge role in this person's life. Really good to consider. I will say with anyone who is Saturn ruled, it's important to note that Saturn is the planet of hard work, dedication, boundaries, restriction, and things can feel a bit more somber with this huge Saturn influence. It's important to note that you need to make sure you're not taking things too seriously. I really, really recommend that. Try to schedule in more fun for yourself. That's going to help you so much in this process. That can be hard. I know for myself, I'm not Saturn ruled, but I have Saturn in my 5th house, and Saturn in the 5th house has us restricting our joy and our fun until we cultivate that and we schedule in the time to appreciate life, to appreciate that joy, to create from a sense of not only discipline in the best possible way, but to create from a sense of joy. So I really hope this gives a bit of context. And I would say to really nurture yourself with your moon sign. So I really hope this helped in terms of cultivating more peace within yourself. I will say, when it comes to feeling more self-love, when it comes to cultivating that for yourself, because that love is going to turn into peace. And I will say, discipline can be a form of love, right? Because it's showing us that we respect ourselves. It's showing us that we trust ourselves. It's showing us that we are really honoring ourselves for what we want to do to cultivate that peace. So the discipline of taking care of yourself, may this be through working out, may this be through meditation, may this be through the habits we do, that is a form of self-love. And I think it's really interesting I'm answering this question when Saturn is about to go into Aries this month in May. Now this community member is a Cancer moon, so to cultivate that self-love, it's really important to nourish that Cancer moon. And as a Cancer moon myself, For me, this looks like feeling my feelings, making sure you do not dwell in really upsetting emotions. It could be easy to get trapped in your emotions because Cancer moons can feel everything. Cancer moons are very intuitive. So making sure you feel everything you need to feel, but also pull yourself out of it, right? Change that energy. So this could be listening to uplifting music. This could be going for a walk, right? It could be different things. And Cancer moons love to be nourished through good food, but also through emotional support, right? Call up a friend or see what you can do to really uplift yourself. Make some art. That's very, very soothing for a Cancer moon. Or watch a nostalgic movie, or really uplift your home in some form. May this be hanging up some art pieces or just making it more cozy for yourself. That's going to feel very, very nourishing for you. I have YouTube videos for all your moon signs if you want to learn how to really nurture your moon sign, because that's going to feel so healing for you to do. So I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. And before I dive into your tarot reading for this week, I am very excited to announce that I have opened up my waitlist for the Boldest You mentorship program. This is for you if you are a spiritual or creative entrepreneur and you want to use astrology and brand strategy to grow your wellness business this year. This is a one-on-one mentorship with me. I have all the details for that down below. And honestly, my clients are getting such transformative results from this program. It's been mind-blowing for me to see. Some of them have exceeded their revenue goal. Some of them are getting amazing, amazing partnerships. Some of them are speaking at conferences to over 200 people. Some of them are getting offered new positions, teaching at different courses. Some of them are honestly just thriving and really growing their businesses in ways that they dreamt of years ago. So I am so excited to accept just a few more Boldest You mentees for this year. If you feel called to work with me one-on-one and to use astrology for your business to help it thrive, then check out the link for that down below. I'm super excited for this program. Now let's get into your tarot reading for this week. So the first card out is the Judgment card. Okay, so I'm hearing this message that honestly, if you are judging yourself, if you are being critical of yourself, if you are telling yourself a certain story, May is going to be the month where you need to recognize this and snap out of it. May is going to be the month where you have to get very aware of the narrative and story you're telling yourself and break free from it. What is the more positive belief that you want to believe? Are you doing the subconscious reprogramming work? Are you understanding how your energy works through your birth chart? Are you understanding how to better take care of yourself? The Judgment card is also this calling. May can be a month where you could receive a huge message and something is happening where you have to make a choice and decision. This is really powerful. I'm going to get some more information. Okay, we also got the Chariot card. This is exciting. So there's going to be a lot of movement in May, which makes so much sense with Mars and Leo for the entire month. Yet the Chariot card wants you to pace yourself and take care of your health. A lot of health themes can come up this month, yet it's knowing that the hustle culture is not going to help you. Okay, I want that to be clear. This is a card of really speaking into existence what you want and taking intuitive action. What is your body feeling right now? What is your body asking to do? Listen to those deep inklings and those deep knowings, because sometimes we can ignore our intuition and really dismiss it, but it's understanding that that is so powerful. You are a powerful creator and you can create the life of your dreams. And I'm really hearing that message. So take this into consideration for May, because May can be the month that changes everything for you. Okay, so please take that into consideration. The next card out is the Page of Pentacles reverse. And this is a card of us not feeling as stable and grounded as we would like. So I'm sorry to say that. I think we could also be releasing this lack mentality in May. So it's good to be aware of that. It's really good to be aware of that. But I also see this as us not playing it small anymore. This is you letting go of that story of, I'm going to dismiss myself. I'm going to play it small. I'm not going to take up space. No, this is the month to take up space. This is the month to get grounded, cultivate that stability and peace within yourself, right? That could be so many things. And sometimes I'm also getting this message that it's okay to ask for help for this. Okay, it's okay to ask for help. It's so, so important. Ask for help if you need that help, right? And I will say I hired another coach for this month, and I'm very excited for it, but I actually have 2 coaches now. And I really felt this deep calling to work with this person. So if you're feeling a deep calling to work with a coach, to work with a mentor, to work with an astrologer, reach out to that person, purchase their program, right? That inner voice is speaking up for a reason. Our next card out is the 7 of Wands reverse. So there's a lot of anger and aggression that needs to be released this month. This is really interesting. So if you're feeling angry and upset, this is the month to let it go, right? And I think you're already in this process of, there might be a lot of built up energy. There might be a lot that feels very overwhelming, but this is the month to let things go. Release any stuck energy. May this be moving your body, shaking it out, screaming into a pillow, boxing in a very safe way, whatever that is, right? Going for a run, release that energy in you because you need to move your energy. That's going to feel so healing for you to do. I asked what would help us through this process, and we got the 10 of Cups, which I love. So I love this card so much because this shows us that, okay, you can have the dream you want. You can have the future you want, right? And there is happiness to this pursuit. Yet it's also seeing a different perspective of, are those expectations of how things should look like going to make you happy? How can you change your expectations and let go what you think things need to look like? Enjoy the present moment. Enjoy life now. That's going to help so much in this process. Also, show more love, right? Call someone up that you love. Tell them that you love them. Send that message. Show those people that you love them. Your oracle cards are little by little, so just know that things do take time. That's okay. Sometimes it could be sped up. I'm not saying that it's going to take a lot of time. Just know that it's okay to take one step at a time. Do what feels good to you. You also got Emerge. So this is the month to shine, to step it up, to take action, to really embody your dream self. Embody what you want for your life. Embody that energy. Embody that wisdom, that grace, that passion, that drive. This is the month to do so. The last card out is Make Space for It. So if you're calling in love, if you're calling in more peace, are you making space for it? Have you overbooked yourself and your schedule? Make sure you're scheduling in time for that person to come in. Make sure you're scheduling in time for yourself, for that meditation, for just spending time with yourself. Whatever that looks like, make space for it. It's going to be so, so powerful if you do. So I really hope this helped, friend. I really hope it helped. If you'd like a private birth chart reading with me, I just have a few spots left for June. And if you want to grow your spiritual wellness business using astrology and brand strategy, check out my Boldest You mentorship program if you are feeling called to use astrology to grow your wellness business. This is the program for you. We don't just go through the astrology of your business, we also go through the mindset work, the energetic work, but also the brand strategy of your business to help it grow, to help it thrive, to save years off your life. So I am super, super excited to mentor more Boldest You mentees. I'll leave a link to that if you're feeling called. Thank you so much for watching, friend. Let me know if you're excited for May. And just remember, the universe has your back. And with peace and love, take care.